Hello, good evening. Welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live from a news hub here at Desawe Kanda. We're also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, also on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. You can also listen to us all across the world on 3news.com, also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at 3FM927. I am Alfred Ocansey. This evening here on Hot Edition, more revelations at parliamentary bipartisan probe on alleged plot to remove the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akuffo-Dampare, as another version of a leaked tape with additional information emerges. That is what we're hearing from the committee earlier today, that they have in their custody another leaked audio which has some further information. Very interesting development. Stay with us. We're getting to more of that. Also, the minority reschedules its planned protest to demand a resignation of Governor of the Central Bank.
Stopped us from demonstrating, and the courts have not changed the route of the demonstration, and we have no intention to change the route of the demonstration. Indeed, the arguments on the route hasn't even happened yet in court.
We have details on that and the rescheduled date for the march to demand the resignation of this Governor of the Central Bank and his two deputies and the customers of defined gold dealership firm Men's Gold Ghana receive assurance from the Attorney General Minister of Justice Godfred Yabodame of Justice. We have details of that plus the latest in business, sports and entertainment coming up over the next 60 minutes. This is Hot Edition. Stay with us. Let's get into the details now. As chairman of the bipartisan parliamentary committee probing the IGP's leaked audio tape, Samuel Atachiam has hinted that the committee has acquired a new version of the leaked audio tape for scrutiny and analysis. According to him, the new version is comprehensive with portions that the current version does not have. Superintendent George Osari, who appeared before the committee earlier today, has destined aspects of the testimony of witnesses number one in the person of Daniel Bugiri-Nabo, who happens to be a former chair of the MPP in the Northern region. Plus, last week, COP Alex Mensah, one of the police officers implicated in the alleged plot, also claiming that the tape allegedly incriminating him has been doctored. Now, this was consistent with what Superintendent George Osari, also who appeared before the committee earlier today, making the point, corroborating what COP Alex Mensah had said earlier, sometime last week, that he believes that the tape was doctored. And they, we understand now, have made available to the committee an extended version somewhat of this leaked audio, which captures some information that is not on the transcript that the committee has. And this was made known to journalists after the hearings earlier today. Samuel Atachiam speaking to journalists earlier today.
You indicated to the committee that Chief Nabu asked you of your opinion about the performance of the IGP. And to quote you, you said, and I told him, is that opinion captured in the audio before the committee?
Honorable Chair, in my earlier statement to the committee, it was clear that the tape is incomplete. Whoever masterminded that tape, which of course you get to know it by the close of day. If not today, maybe, I don't know when the in-camera will take place. Before I sign out, you understand everything. I will end it here.
Sorry. I think
Yes, Honorable Chair.
I asked a very simple question. You have indicated to this committee that Chief Nabu asked you about your opinion on the performance of the current IGP. And you said you told him of your opinion. And I'm asking whether that opinion you expressed is captured in the audio before us or not.
Honorable Chair, this additional information as regards the tape that has been played here in about 3 consecutive occasions, there was nowhere in the tape that this statement was made. And you can allude to that fact. It's a fact. I gave it as an additional information which was not captured in the tape. Just to make a point that the tape is doctored.
Mr. Nasari, do you know the role of the police council vis-a-vis appointment of inspectors general of police?
Mr. Chair, I have never had the opportunity to work with the police council, but with the appointment of the Inspector General of Police, I have made it clear to the committee.
If I can recall what you said, it is the prerogative of His Excellency the President to appoint in consultation with the Council of State. And you and I know that the Police Council provides strategic and policy advice on matters of the police to the President. The question I want to ask, which role do you think Chief Bukunabu will be playing to facilitate the appointment of an IGP?
Honorable Chair, Chief Bukunabu, as we all know, is a politician. He was the regional chair for the MPP in the Northern region. And now, he is a National Council member. And when we met him in the course of our conversation, he did indicate that he recommended the current IGP to the President. So he made a statement. And if a politician tells you this, as to whether or not it is true, you leave it as it is. Because I don't need any appointment. And I wasn't, again, as well lobbying for anybody. Two persons. One, Chief Bukunabu. Two, my boss, COP Mr. George Alex Mensah.
And what was the subject matter for that meeting?
Honorable Chair, when I got there, the meeting had almost ended. If you okay, when I got there, the meeting had already ended, and from my deductions, I saw that Chief Bukunabu wanted to tell us that there's going to be a possible changes in the top hierarchy of our work, and that it could be possible Commissioner will get a nod.
So
as to whether or not he was lying, I cannot tell.
So the discussions were on who becomes the next IGP?
Yes, Honorable Chair.
And you had arranged for Commissioner Mensah to see Chief Nabu.
Honorable Chair, that is not it. As I did indicate, our visitation to his office was at the instance of Chief Bugri Nabu. I didn't arrange whatsoever for any meeting.
So the entire police service, Commissioner Mensah meeting Chief Nabu, there couldn't have been any other officer who have joined that meeting than Superintendent Mensah. Sorry.
Honorable Chair, it was because I introduced or recommended him to Chief Bugri Nabu.
So you were the fixer.
Honorable Chair, fixer as in what?
The go-between Commissioner Mensah and Chief Nabu.
Well, so you had some members of the committee also posing questions to Superintendent Asari, who appeared before them earlier today. And my colleague Jude Mensah-Opoku sat through the committee hearings today. And then also, let me acknowledge the presence of Adib Sani, who's joining us on the telephone. He's a security analyst who has also been following this case quite closely. Adib, let me start off with you, because sitting back and hearing today, there's some consistency with what COP Alex Mensah said last week, plus what we heard from Superintendent Asari, that they, in their own strong view, which they argue out quite strongly today, that this is not a complete tape. Now we are hearing from the committee that they also have another tape, which they are also considering as evidence, which you're going to listen to as well. How does all of this strike you?
Well, it's getting more interesting by the day, and I prophesied this. I said, look, this committee sittings we are going into, are we as Ghanaians prepared for the ugly truth that would come up? And now we begin to see the nuances, the various faces to what is going on within the police service. And I'm not surprised that they have something new that the public has not been privy to. And that is why I'm also calling for the Speaker of Parliament to broaden the scope of the committee to look into the general police issues, because I understand there's a couple of petitions that have been submitted to the committee that has to do with certain happenings within the police service. I have also had the opportunity to speak with a lot of police officers who have reached out to me from the lower ranks to the very top ranks, complaining about certain happenings within the police service that hinges on even the security of the state. That really needs to be looked at. But I've heard people raising concerns about whether the committee is within their purview to look into these matters. So, because so far as I am concerned, the committee is a fact-finding committee, but to what extent of facts they are supposed to find is what, people are still debating. But if it's going to pose any issues, I think that Parliament should broaden their scope so they are able to look into the wider issues surrounding the police service.
And you're saying that the committee has already received petitions concerning happenings which are beyond the leak tape that they are supposed to look into?
Absolutely. Because when COP George Alex Mensah appeared, I have my differences with him, his political stature as a serving police officer. However, believe it or not, this man has become a celebrity amongst a lot of police officers. Because a lot of them contend that they have issues that was deep down, they are just that they couldn't get out because they were afraid to do so. And this man has spoken for them, so he's a hero to a lot of them. And I've also had very top, like the top police officers telling me that they are willing to appear before the committee to tell their side of, the story with respect to some of the things he has spoken about. So a lot of police officers are corroborating it, okay? So now it's quite obvious we have two faces to the police. We have the external one, which you and I are privy to, which is about the great work IGP Dampari is doing with respect to reducing crime, to the visibility we are seeing all over, to the K9 units, the cold case unit, to the revamping of the Halls Patrol units, etc. And the other side, which is the internal, which has a lot to do with administrative, issues. People disgruntled about the promotions, because as we speak, we have about 80 police officers who are appearing in court over what they describe as unfair treatment so far as promotions is concerned. I've had the opportunity to speak with the lead person in this, and the things he has to say, I must say, is quite distressing. So we need to look into the police, because a fractured, divided police service will not be able to execute their mandate. We need to be very careful. The police have to put its house in order before they are able to put Ghana's house in order.
Adib, stay with me. And Duke, you've sat through the committee's hearings right from the get-go. Okay, and do you get the sense that with COP Alex Mensah and then also Superintendent Asare, who appeared before the committee today, they have a challenge with the persons being promoted and how they are being promoted, or there's a certain status quo that has prevailed, which George Dampare is departing from, even though what he's doing is not wrong. But then because they are used to a certain status quo where certain so-called senior officers are promoted within a certain period, and he's not going by that, he's employing the same promotion process legally, but they have problems with that.
If you listen carefully to COP George Alex Mensah's testimony, he complained bitterly about his own experience, about how for 8 years within the NDC regime, he was not promoted. But within that same period, Dr. Dampare was promoted a number of occasions. He also did allude to the fact that usually there are considerations such as experience, academic qualifications, special recommendations, and other factors that necessitate these promotions. He said that the current IGP had disregarded others and was going by the special recommendation to promote people. He did indicate that. Superintendent Asare also indicated he didn't really want to go into these matters very deeply, but he did indicate that there was a certain sense and a certain feeling that, especially for him, who at a point in time was a district police commander, and now he's a commander. He's not even a commander. He's now an officer with the protocol department at the at the headquarters. And he was asked by the chairman whether he was happy with his job, and he said, well, he was happy with his job. At least he didn't have. There are people who don't have jobs. He had a job. He had a job. He even kept on asking whether. He wanted a clarification on the question. The COP said the chairman said he was talking about his job, not his marriage, which brought some laughter to the room and all of that. But the point essentially is that COP George Alex Mensah made it clear that the standards for promotion have been, it is mixed up. There's a mixture of politics in there, in that in his own situation. Throughout the 8-year period of the NDC, Mills Mahama, he was never promoted until President Akufo-Addo came and he got his promotions.
Hold on a bit for me. Let me just round it up with Adib, and then we'll get into the new tape, because you spoke to Samuel Atachia after the committee hearings earlier today. Adib, I'm looking at the terms of reference of this 7-member special committee that the Speaker established, which has been sitting for quite a while now. One, they are supposed to confirm indeed the authenticity of the leaked audio tape, which has been done now because Bugiri Nabu admitted that he did this. And then two, the persons who have also come before them have confirmed that these are their voices. The second term of reference is to investigate the conspiracy to remove the current IGP, which is what these testimonies are actually pointing to now. If you look at the third term of reference, it says investigate any other matter contained in the audio recording, plus recommend the necessary changes or reforms, and then also make recommendations for reforms where necessary, and then make such other recommendations and consequential orders as the committee may deem appropriate. With this new development, which other term of reference again are you expecting, Mr. Adib, to have the committee actually be giving to be able to do his work effectively?
Okay, so it's quite obvious the committee doesn't need any broadening of its mandate to look into the issues coming up with respect to happenings within the police service. Their mandate is quite wide, and of course, you mentioned necessary reforms, recommendations to be made, and all that. I think it is welcoming, and I have confidence in the committee's ability to achieve that based on how they have started the whole session and the kind of questions they are asking and the new issues that are formulating as a result. So I don't think they would need a new mandate because it's still within their mandate to get to the bottom of not just the tape, but happenings within the police service that compromises its ability to deliver on its mandate.
I thank you very much for your thoughts on this. Really appreciate it. Now, Duke, you spoke to Samuel Atachiam after the hearings today. He gave indication that they have a new tape, another tape.
Yes, that's the last thing he said. He said that they have acquired a tape that is comprehensive because COP George Alex Mensah said that the tape had been edited, which means that there are portions of the tape which was not played or which were not played in the public glare or for everybody to hear. The man, Superintendent Asari today, also said that there is a tape where Bugri Nabu made all sorts of allegations, implicated himself a lot more. So, and that he didn't hear all those things on the tape that was played, which is suggest that this tape is probably, for want of a better word, an abridged version of what should be the case. So we're told that they have acquired a comprehensive version, a fuller version, which is longer than the 50 minutes that was currently played before the committee. They say they will play it, they will listen to it, they will internalize it and see how it will help their work.
Good stuff. Let's hear from Atachiam, shall we, on this matter?
I heard them say that the first audio is not authentic in terms of some aspects, but they admitted that some of them were authentic. Now, you've had the benefit of the tape on the assumption that it's authentic. The members of the committee will have to internalize that tape, and it is also transcribed and look at it. And that will give us the ideas as to what to do. First of all, do we bring all the stakeholders together with their lawyers for cross-examination and cross-firing to take place? As we listen attentively, and later when they finish, they will have our turn. And then, are there matters which should not come into the public domain because of national security implications? We will do long in-house or in-camera hearing. And then we make some good sense of it. This is how we are going to go. Be guided strongly by the fact that this is not a simple exercise. It's not everything that should be fed to the general public will have implications for the nation. Oh, if your name is on the tape and your role is significant in we doing the proper fact finding, it's automatic you have to appear before the committee. But the issue for determination with the members all decide is, do we do an obvious interrogation like the one we are doing on camera, or we do in camera because of national security consideration? We will let you know everything. Because it's not going to be a fetish of an investigation that the press is blocked when we plead with the press that they should excuse us because of the matters of national security concerns, you understand us. It's not everything which is for the public consumption. And then we'll do what is needful. Sitting, the petitions were brought to us, so we've not even read them, not peruse the petitions. But trust us as a committee that there is nothing of consequence. I will brush it aside. It's going to be a very comprehensive interrogation. So if people want to aid us to do our fact finding, we will not block them. We've also just seen that some police officers have even taken the IGP to court in relation to their promotion. So I've instructed that they should fetch the writ, that we know the content of what is pending in court and the rest of it. We will inform you very soon because we are partners, We'll inform you very soon. First of all, the members are doing some serious reading of what is supposed to be the authentic tape. And that will inform our next activity. What material is different from what we've used. And then we'll do what we call the proper analysis of the new tape, so-called. That will inform what we do next.
Number two questions. First of all, the IGP was mentioned, we were told last week that he's likely going to be invited by the committee.
Well, it's come to us. You see, we might not divulge our sources because then you block people from giving us information. But we have a tape, which is supposed to be the comprehensive tape. We look at it. If you told the world that it was Kwesi Mensah who brought me the tape, we might not get the next tape or the final tape or whatever it is, or this information or that information. Fed about the Whistleblowers Act.
So that's Samuel Atachan there. He's a chair of this 7-member committee. He says this is the tape, the new tape they have in their custody is comprehensive.
Yes.
To mean that it's
all encompassing. It has fuller details.
More than what we even have
To
now.
use tabloid language is juicier than what we have.
More than the 45 minutes?
Yes, than what we have. It's juicier.
Wow.
Yeah.
But did after the Superintendent Asari's engagement with the committee today, it was quite clear that there was a lot more to this, is it not, than what we are reading, especially because some of the things that he kept saying that he didn't want to talk about in public.
Yes, and getting to the end, he actually shifted into a different gear. And the things he was supposed to be saying in camera, for instance, he said the IGP had promised Mr. Bugri Nabu to give him a contract to supply 400,000 boots to the police.
400,000 boots.
A contract, yes, and he had not delivered on that, and because of that, Chairman Bugri Nabu was incensed with the IGP because apparently he had helped him in lobbying. He had helped in lobbying for him to get there, with the hope that at least for the list of the concerns, he will get this. Allegedly. Let me qualify that. Allegedly, get him this contract where he will be supplying 40,000 boots in excess to the police, and we all know procurement comes with a lot of yes, so those are some of the things he was saying. In fact, he also went on to indicate that, he believes and he concurs with COP George Alex Mensah that the IGP may have masterminded the recording of this leaked audio. So, at the end of the day, he indicated that there are things he wanted to say in camera, but he ended up saying some of those things in the full glare of the public.
Let's hear this bit on the contract and Bugri Nabu and the matters arising earlier at the committee hearings today.
After the leakage, Bugri Nabu's special assistant by name SK was picked up in that morning by the NIB officers. And then the secretary was also picked up. And eventually, Chief Bugri Nabu was also invited to the place. These people, per my reliable information, are from Alhaji Bugri Nabu, who went there and lied as usual. And he has lied on several occasions. I have Alhaji Bugri Nabu on tape. Everything he came to say here, on video, in his office, the same office. His relationship with IGP and contracts, 40,000 boots contracts.
My brother, But you were very good and said you speak in camera. Have you forgotten yourself? Yes. Ask your very simple question whether you appear before the
Honorable Chair, sorry.
So at this point, Samantacha had to
rein
step
him in because he was exceeding his bounds
and saying some things
that should be meant for in camera hearings.
But that's denying the public some of this information that we
well, it's for a reason. It's for a reason that that information is supposed to be in camera. So I mean, the sensitivity. This is an institution. We shouldn't be excited about hearing some of these things at the detriment of our national security. It's important. That's why at the point that I was getting concerned that this was, and the chairman himself conceded. He mentioned, I asked him that question, that this was becoming a public trial of our police service. It's not good. They're in charge of our internal security. So we need to do as much as everything possible to protect the internal security of our nation.
From the way things are playing out, it appears that the period given to this committee to sit may be extended. Is it not?
Well, they gave themselves, a period of 2 weeks to to finish their work and submit to the speaker. They have up to the Parliament returns from recess somewhere in October, so they have the whole of this month and some weeks in October to be able to do their work.
But certainly that 2 week period
obviously not. Now the 2 weeks has been exceeded, and they have just done key witnesses and public hearings. They now have to go and internalize this new audio that they have discovered. Probably they have to call the IGP because in the wisdom of audio authorem partem, natural justice, his name has been mentioned. He must exercise his right of fair hearing. Now the chairman, we've just heard him say that he's going to request for a copy of the writ where some police officers have sued the IGP. They may want to add it to the remit of their work. So they just keep expanding their remit, and that will take more time, obviously, Alfred.
It's good stuff, Duke. Thank you. So the suspended sittings today.
They have adjourned Senate. They say they will inform us when they are ready to begin sittings again.
Great stuff, Duke Mensah-Opoku. Thank you. Appreciate it. He sat through the committee's hearings right from the get-go, and the indication is whether or not this new audio that the committee has taken custody of would lead to an extension of their period of the sitting. But the 2 weeks they give themselves, as has been clearly indicated, has been exceeded. And Samuel Atachian describes this new audio as comprehensive and one that contains more information than what we have already heard in that first 45 minutes audio, which was leaked. We wait to see exactly how things will play out. This is Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're live as well on Kesme 107.1 in Tamil and beyond, also on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. The Bako Central Member of Parliament, Mama Yarega, says the minority has not been stopped from demonstrating in spite of the adjournment of the ruling on the preliminary objection to counter the injunction suit by the police against the protest. The planned demonstration by the NDC, originally scheduled for tomorrow, the 5th of September, has been called off. The police sued the NDC after both parties disagreed on the appropriate routes to use for the protest march against the governor of the central bank, Dr. Ernest Addison, and his two deputies. Here's Mama Yarega speaking to journalists after the court hearing earlier today.
Have not stopped us from demonstrating. And the courts have not changed the route of the demonstration. And we have no intention to change the route of the demonstration. Indeed, the arguments on the route hasn't even happened yet in court. It is just our pointing out that the police is incompetent in the way that they have come to court. So we are pleading with our supporters and those who have prepared themselves for this march to remain prepared, because this march will happen. It will happen on the same route. It is only the date that will change after the court has given a ruling. So on Friday, we will be back here in court. We will listen to the ruling of the court on the preliminary matter. We will go into the substantive matter of whether or not the Bank of Ghana premise is a security zone, whether or not, the routes that we have chosen cannot be used by us, and then whether or not we are the ones causing the coup in this country. All those arguments will be heard on Friday after the ruling on the preliminary matters, and a decision taken by the court, and then we will announce the specific date of the demonstration. What they have done is just to postpone their problems. They have just postponed their problems. As for the problem of we demonstrating and demonstrating their inefficiency, incapacity, how they have destroyed the Central Bank of Ghana and the financial system of the country, we will demonstrate, and we will demonstrate on that route that we have announced to the public. And so we want to urge you to remain prepared for our demonstration. Simple.
So that's Mama Yarga there. Meanwhile, in the last hour, the Minority Caucus has issued a statement regarding the specific routes they're going to use in the new date as communicated. And my colleague, Lord Eduasari, has been looking through the statement. What is the minority saying in this, Lord? We'll pull that statement shortly and give you details of what the minority has been talking about and what the way forward is after the court ruling earlier today and what has to be done going forward as indicated. And what did they say specifically? Let's round it up.
Right, so it says that the protest planned by leadership of the minority in parliament and other civil society organizations to the head office of the Bank of Ghana, originally scheduled for Tuesday, 5th of September 2023, has been rescheduled to Tuesday, 12 September 2023. The route remains the same. The march will commence from the frontage of Parliament House, Osu Cemetery Traffic Light, Ministry of Finance, High Court Complex, Kimbu, Makola, Rollins Park, Oprah Square, and finally the Bank of Ghana. They continue to say that the change in dates is the result of the outcome of proceedings in courts today, September 4, 2023. The court was unable to give an instant ruling due to the weight of the preliminary legal objections raised by the lawyers for the minority in Parliament and requested the indulgence of the minority to give its ruling on Friday, 8 September 2023. The legal objections raised today were as a result of the incompetent processes filed in court by the Ghana Police Service seeking to restrain the protest along the routes proposed by the minority and its broad coalition of civil society groups.
So the new date communicated is the 12th.
Yeah, indeed, next week Tuesday.
Just next week Tuesday. Thank you. Lord Eduasari, running through the statement with me here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Stay with us because customers of the defunct gold trading company, Men's Gold Ghana Limited, have received an assurance of justice from the Attorney General, Godfrey Yobodami. This follows the filing of a new charge sheet at the High Court where the CEO of Men's Gold, Apia Mensah, has been charged with 39 counts of defrauding by false pretenses, engaging in gold trading without a license, and money laundering. According to the Attorney General, the defunct dealership firm, Men's Gold, is a Ponzi scheme that has left many of its victims homeless, with broken marriages and some losing their lives. Delivering the keynote address at the 40th International Symposium on International Crime in London, Godfrey Dami says his office will ensure swift proceedings for justice for victims of Men's Gold.
Of thousands of otherwise hardworking Ghanaians was the oxygen for the operating microfinance institution under the guise of, guess what, gold trading, legally using the name of a bank. It called itself Men's Bank, metamorphosed into a number of names before eventually taking up the name Men's Gold. It dealt in the purchase and deposit of gold collectibles from the public and issued contracts with guaranteed returns to clients without a license from the relevant authorities. The modus operandi of that company highlighted some of the major causes for the success of such process. And these are ignorance, vulnerability, and greed of the victims. The vulnerability and ignorance of thousands of otherwise hardworking Ghanaians was the oxygen for the operations of the company, as we often witness in the case of many Ponzi schemes around the world. People paid their life savings to the suspects in the case, resulting in losses worth millions of dollars, and in some cases, loss of lives. The misery and distress caused to many homes nearly unleashed a social crisis as riots and demonstrations broke out in the streets of Accra and other parts of the country. In reality, people lost their homes and some marriages even broke up as a result of the Men's Gold phenomenon. I am happy to state that after painstaking investigations, criminal prosecutions has commenced against the perpetrators. And at least by the grace of God, justice will be served to victims of those dastardly acts.
Oh, that's Godfred Yabwadame, who is the Attorney General. Let's go on to the telephone briefly. Fred Forson speaks for the aggrieved customers of Men's Gold. Ms. Forson, thank you for joining us here on Hot Edition. Hearing from the Attorney General this statement that indeed you're going to get justice, and as a matter of fact, affirming some of the situations that your members have had to deal with, how does this get to you?
First of all, I think it's a welcoming news, and we want to commend the AG for his tireless demonstration of what I call a tireless effort over the past few weeks and months, even though we have not lost sight of the fact that for the past 4 years, there has been virtually no action in respect of the case in the lower court. We as a group, tomorrow we shall come up with an official statement anyway. We would cooperate with the legal process, and we want to use this platform to urge our customers to also cooperate any information that the prosecution team would want. We should readily make it available. If you are a customer listening to me, I know some of you are supposed to go and give statements. This week I'll be accompanying some of them today. CID headquarters to write their statement. It's all well and good. We are all looking for justice. And so we would cooperate with them and so that this case can be expedited. We are also calling for daily trial so that customers can get justice. At the same time, we would want the president, in respect of the delay that this case has seen and this issue has gone through for the past 5 years. Even as the criminal trial is going on, we believe that the civil aspect of it can run concurrently, and so we want the president to, as a matter of urgency, give us an emergency bailout plan to cushion customers and to ameliorate some of our hardships. We would also want, this one is a caution to politicians. When things happen like that, we are in Ghana, this is Africa. Some politicians who want to interfere, they should allow the Attorney General Department to prosecute the case to ecological conclusion. No political interference from any side of the political divide, especially the party in power. They should allow justice to run.
Okay, thank you very much. Fred Forson speaks for the aggrieved Men's Gold customers. Some members of the public have expressed frustration over the delay in getting their Ghana cards issued after months of application. This comes after the National Identification Authority today began the phase 2 of the Ghana card registration for the first-time applicants aged 15 years and above. The exercise will, however, not take place at NIA's regional offices operating as premium registration centers, including the NIA regional offices at Ho, Koforidua, Kumasi, Sunyai, Seshuyoso, Takrade, Tamale, and Techiman. Christian Yale was in Accra to observe the exercise and reports.
Some applicants who visited the NIA's head office complained about their unsuccessful attempt to obtain Ghana cards, causing increasing agitation and frustration.
They directed me here, Shiashi DNA, and I'm here for my Ghana card replacement. But when I came here, they are saying the system is slow, so we have to wait for a while. So I'm waiting.
So I've been over here for a month and a half now. When I come, they tell me I've been through the process. It's left with how to issue the card to me. But anytime I come, they say system down, network, and all that stuff. But other people come, they pay money to people who issue the card, then they issue the card to them instantly, whilst those who've paid for premium service haven't received our card yet. So if you pay for the premium service, which is $280, you have to get a card instantly. But due to some discrepancies and other issues, they will tell you that networks and other stuff, so you didn't be able to get your card.
Some traveled long distances to obtain their cards, only to be told to return later.
I'm coming to do my replacement, and I came and they told me to come tomorrow because they've closed for the day, so I should be here by 8 a.m.
The news team attempted to get responses to some of the issues raised, but no official would speak on record. The free Ghana card registration will not take place at NIA's regional offices operating as premium registration centers. These include NIA regional offices at Ho, Koforidua, Kumasi, Sunyane, Sechuyoso, Takrade, Tamale, and Techiman.
That's Christian there, and that's what's happening in Accra. But let's go to the Ashanti region, where the exercise began at a slow pace earlier today. Through the period, the turnout has been low. Officials expect more applicants to turn up in subsequent days, especially for those who want to register in the limited voter exercise. Our Ashanti regional correspondent Ibrahim Abubakar reports.
The one of the NIA registration for first-timers age 15 and above has been slow in most centers here in Kumasi. Few of these applicants were able to register successfully. This, according to officials, is due to poor network that has slowed down their activities.
I want to be identified as a Ghanaian. That's why I did the Ghana card.
Due to about 2 seminar, ID card.
I came to get my Ghana card to enable me register.
That's what's happening in the Ashanti region. And it's some 14 minutes to the top of the hour, 6 p.m. on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. And Akia Mensa Brampa is here with the latest in business.
So basically it's for the newbies, if I get the information right.
Yeah, basically.
So if you've misplaced your Ghana card, you need to get a police report and then follow the necessary. Okay.
You know it right.
And I like Ibrahim's picture for Facebook by Bell Photography. Good evening to you, Alfred.
Let's get into what you have.
Right, and in business this evening, the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, has underscored the need for developing countries to trade amongst themselves in their local currencies as a means of strengthening their economies. According to the IMF Managing Director, Kristalina Georgieva, her outfit is working with member countries to also raise funds locally through the bonds market.
Overall, this is positive. When countries are able to use their own currency, that gives them better prospects. We work with our members to help them put in place fiscal and monetary policy that makes their currencies stable and more likely to be a means of exchange in international transactions. We also work with countries to help them build local bond markets so they can mobilize financing in local currency to invest in their development. The needs for development finance are enormous. Having more institutions that can specialize in particular region or in financing on particular topics is good for the developing world. What is necessary is, one, strong coordination among these development banks. And we encourage this cooperation, we participate in it.
And that was the IMF Managing Director, Kristalina Georgieva there. Also, Minister of State for the Finance Ministry, Dr. Amin Adams, has called on African countries to collaborate in eliminating perceived risks associated with their economies. Ghana, like most African nations, nations' access to the global capital market is mostly inhibited by high interests and rates associated to the widely held opinion of the business climate being risky. Speaking to 3 Business at the sidelines of the ongoing Africa Climate Summit, Dr. Amin Adams further questioned the narrative of a lack of policy to aid investment.
Now we have competitive procurement environment that provides level playing field for investors to come and compete. But in spite of all this, we are not able to generate the capital. We are not able to attract the capital that we need. This is all because of the perceived risk. For example, when Ghana has done everything right, then you have regional partners that are involved in political instability. Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger. Then the investor says that there is perceived risk because they want to come in and invest and also scale up. And to be able to invest and scale up, they are worried. But if the instability, extends to Ghana, what happens to their investment? And if they scale up, they will want to also, grow their market into your regional neighboring markets. If they are involved in politically unstable environment, how do they go there? So this award is deepening the perceived risk of investing in Africa.
Minister of State for the Finance Ministry, Dr. Amin Adams there. Meanwhile, still at the Africa Climate Summit, the African Development Bank has announced a $1 billion youth adaptive initiative to provide seed financing in promoting businesses of the youth in Africa. The bank says in collaboration with the Global Center on Adaptation, it rolled out the Youth Adapt policy with an investment of $4 million into 33 businesses of youth in 18 African countries. And speaking at the African Youth Climate Assembly, President of the AFDB, Akinwumi Adesina, says the institution is committed to accelerating the policy to enhance the growth of the youth on the continent.
The other thing that we are doing at the African Development Bank on this is for climate adaptation. We have launched what's called Climate Adaptation Window, Mr. President, under the African Development Fund, and which Kenya is a big contributor to the African Development Bank. And this is to now has $429 million that will support us to provide 20 million farmers with access to crop insurance and livestock insurance. Another 20 million farmers to have access to climate-resilient agricultural technologies to build their resilience. Then to essentially regenerate 1 million hectares, Mr. President, of degraded land and all that. So this is a very, very big investment that we are making.
And that was the president of the AFDB, Mr. Akindola Adesimu. That's it for business this evening with me, Nana Ikiam and Sabrampa. Bill Ishen is standing by with the latest in the world of sports. Bill, good evening. What's happening sports?
Good evening, Nanekia. I mean, you know the Black Stars players have come to camp and then they have completed training already today ahead of the qualifiers, the AFCON qualifiers against the Central African Republic.
So it still stands, Partey is not showing up?
No.
He has an injury?
Yeah, he's injured.
All right, so take us on.
All right, thank you. It's time for sports here on the Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. My name is Bill Shen, and we start off from the Black Stars because we just completed training at the Accra Sports Stadium ahead of the 2023 AFCON qualifiers fixture against the Central African Republic. Some members of the team, including Captain Andrea Yu and Mohamed Kudus, arrived in camp earlier today. Now, still on the Black Stars, Jordan Ayew has been named the Player of the Month for August at Crystal Palace. Now, here is his reaction.
It's been a while, very long time. I haven't gotten a trophy as well. I'd just like to thank everyone, the fans, the club, the staff for supporting me since Roy has come in. It's been really good to me, and obviously putting me into positions where I can express myself and where I feel more comfortable. It gives me the freedom to express myself, and I'll say.
That was Jordan Ayew there talking after winning the Player of the Month for Crystal Palace for August. Also, Northern star Ibrahim Osman has been voted as the Danish Superliga Young Player for August. Now, the last player to pick up that award was Ernest Nyama. In more local news, Mediama defeated Dreams 2-1 to win the Ghanaian Super Cup. Jonathan Soa, who is a part of the Black Star squad for the qualifiers, scored twice for Mediama. Now, let's move on to foreign news. Here are some results in the Premier League this weekend. Burnley lost 5-2 to Tottenham. Manchester City defeated Fulham by 5-1. Nottingham defeated Chelsea by 1-0. Liverpool defeated Aston Villa by 3-0. And Arsenal defeated Manchester United by 3-1. Now, we have Oreku Ampofo here with us in studio. Oreku was at the Black Stars training earlier today. It's completed. And Oreku, thank you for coming.
Well, thank you very much, Bill.
So what exactly did you notice at the Black Stars training today?
A very low turnout for the players. I think it's the lowest number I've seen in the past year or so since Chris Hughton did take charge of the team. What we witnessed was just 12 players out of the 25, which is even less than half of the number expected. So it was a very I would say, slow training session. Lasted just about 30-40 minutes, just 12 players. There was no Jordan Ayew, Richard Ofori, Joseph Painto, and Esnuama. It's a long list of players who are absent, and so Chris Hughton really couldn't do much. They just warmed up, worked on a few shooting drills here and there, and so we expect a lot more players to come in because they're supposed to travel to Kumasi on Tuesday and then train a couple of times before the game on Thursday.
Right, and one question I would ask you before I let you go, of course, the only local player in the squad, Jonathan Suwa, he did join the squad for training. I mean, how was he, integrated into that team?
Very similar to that of Hafiz Konkoni, where he did a bit of a personal warm-up on the sides, focused a lot on stretching and recovery. The excuse that we got for Hafiz Konkoni was the fact that he played the night before, and it's also the similar case for Jonathan Soa. He scored 2 goals yesterday evening against Dreams FC in the Champions of Champion Cup, and so maybe that's the reason why he wasn't too involved in the training session. But overall, it wasn't the longest of training sessions. No one was really involved except Andrea Yu, Mohamed Kudus, and Edmond Addo, who are all involved in a shooting drill. There was a bit of an incident getting to the end where Atizigi took a shot to his face and needed medical attention. And that was how the training session ended. But he looked okay at the end of the session.
Right, thank you very much, Ureku, for the insights and the updates on the Black Stars training session. This is where we bring an end to the sports segment here on the Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Of course, Akofa is standing by with the latest in entertainment.
Welcome to the entertainment news segment here on Hot Edition. My name is Akofa. We begin with a spectacular display of rich cultural heritage, tradition, and vibrant festivities, climaxed a week-long celebration of this year's Ogua Fetu Festival by the chiefs and people of Cape Coast, the capital of the Central Region. Here are some highlights.
Cape Coast went agog over the weekend as hundreds of indigents, festival goers and people from all walks of life trooped to the capital of the Central Region to join in the celebration of this year's Fetu Afashe. The 2023 festival was grandly celebrated. A major highlight was the elaborate procession of chiefs, traditional leaders and the 7 Asafo groups through the principal streets of Cape Coast to the Jubilee Park. The procession occasionally made stops to remember their forefathers and ancestors for the bravery they showed during the many wars they fought to protect the people of Ogwe. Rituals were also performed to seek blessings for the years ahead. Nana Wiabo Kwamina V, the Tufuhene of Ekwan, is a leader of the Asafo One company.
We have 7 companies, and in the olden days, we were the local, the military that protects the land of Uga. So those times we go to war with the Ashantis, with the Kwapims, just to be able to protect our people from any invasion. So a time came that we lost many of our people, and yet we were able to defend the land of Uga. So we do this celebration with all the 7 companies to show the powers that we have, to show the victory that we had over our enemies.
All right, staying a while longer on the Fetu Afashe, where we have the CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Akwesi Agyemang, saying that he's impressed with the high numbers of international tourists and visitors that attended the 2023 Ogua Fetu Afashe. According to him, the massive influx of tourists injected vitality into the local economy, supported businesses, and will help to promote tourism in the region.
What I saw today was very, very impressive. The attendance was good, the caliber of people who were there, the enthusiasm of the people of Ogua, and then also the display of our rich traditions and the sheer number of people who are here in various restaurants, chop bars, bars. Everything is going on, and that really is what the Afashe is about, a coming together of the people and making sure that we showcase our tradition and also bring economic activity to the metropolis and also to the people of Ogua.
Akwesi Agyemang, who was a among the tall list of dignitaries who graced the 2023 Fetu Afashe said the growing attendance figures is a testament to the positive impact of the DTA's sustained effort to whip up interest and encourage domestic tourism.
I will say yes, but also I will give credit to the planning committee and then the traditional council. They've been very deliberate in reaching out to people. I mean, today we had McDan as a special guest. We have the US ambassador here and various other people who are not necessarily connected with Cape Coast. So that tells you that the traditional council and the planning committee have also done a yeoman's job. But we have been also pushing the agenda of people participating in such festivals and also going around the country. And from the numbers that we've seen and what our hoteliers and our restaurants and our operators are telling us, this has been a good Fetu Afashe.
All right, thanks for your time. That will be all the entertainment news here on Hot Edition, powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Kofa Alfred.
Yes, and more news on 3news.com. Join me at 10 p.m. on TV3 for Ghana Tonight. On behalf of the rest of the team, we appreciate your company. The drive continues with Giovanni, AG, and DJ Faculty. I am Alfred Ocansey, and she's back at 8 o'clock
with Wind Down.